The next part that we are going to add to this is the stand that goes up in the air. Now we could do this just as a single sketch and an extrusion, but I'm going to just take it a little stage further and hopefully you see why. So we're going to sketch on top of the surface of our phone holder, okay, or part 2 as it's called down here. So we're going to normalize or look at from above, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the straight line tool, and handily, if you note, it snaps to the edge. So I'm going to draw one line over here, and I'm deliberately going to make that not straight, and press escape. Then I'm going to do another line, and I'll deliberately do that one again so it's not straight. So you can see what I've drawn. Now what I want to do is make sure that they are parallel to the front and that the distance is enough that it allows a standard phone to fit. Most phones these days are made anywhere between 10 and 11 millimeters thick. So if we leave a distance here of about 12, that should be perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick this line and make it parallel to this line. Then I will do the same tool and choose to dimension between those two lines, and as I said, make that about 12 millimeters. Then I'm going to dimension between these two lines, and ideally I probably want that to be about 8 millimeters. The last thing, so I can extrude this or do something with it, is to join them. Draw a straight line between the two endpoints, which means now I could extrude it. Now just to show you that, if I pick the extrude tool and I pick that sketch, you can see that what I've created there is my stand. However, the problem with that is 90 degrees vertical to the flat face, which means if I put my phone there, my phone will just topple forward, which means it won't work. So clearly an extrusion is not the right thing to use. So what we're going to do is we're going to use another tool called the loft, which allows us to create a sketch up in the air, similar to this one, and loft between them. So in order to do that, we're going to use the plane tool and create a plane from the top surface here, this flat surface, that is 110 millimeters up in the air, just like that. So let's accept it. And then on that, we're going to add a new sketch. We're going to look at it directly from above again, so we can see. And this time, we're going to use the project tool, which is this tool here. This is basically a tracing tool and allows us to trace lines from our part. Okay, so you can see that it's actually added, I hope you can see, it's added a black line now, a darker black line in there. So the next thing I want to do is add another sketch, another 2 sketches or 2 lines. So I'm going to now add it. It's going to snap from this point here. So I'm going to draw a line approximately kind of in the middle of these two. So if I click there, and it's difficult for you to see, I guess, because of the colours, but it's actually a pale blue line and it'll snap to the end point there. I'm going to press escape and press the L key to draw another, and I'm going to draw a straight line across, and again press the L key. So I've got my new sketch. Now what I want to do is make sure that those lines are parallel. So let's pick the front one, and let's pick the front of our object. Let's pick the back one, let's pick the front of our object. So now we've got parallel lines. I'm going to dimension and see what the measurement is between those 2 points. At the moment it's 3.789. I've just made it slightly bigger. I've made it at 4 with a slight angle. I'm then going to measure between these 2 lines. Okay, that gives me a distance of 7.6. So because of the way that this tool works, I can actually make this smaller than the thickness. So I'm going to make this one 6 millimeters thick. Okay, so you can see that move. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just join these 2 up together, or instead of doing that, because there is already a line there, let's use the trim tool to cut the bits that we don't want, which will actually leave us with an enclosed shape. So let's accept. So now if I zoom out and rotate, hopefully now you can see I've got a sketch in midair here and I've got a sketch down here. So what I can do now is do this operation called a loft. I'm going to loft this sketch to this sketch, which creates that form. And if you notice now, we've got a slight angle where the phone can sit on. Okay, it goes up, it follows it, and it actually, if you notice as well, if you really look, it gets thinner at the top, of course. So let's accept the loft. Now, if the angle going back is not as sloped or severe as you want, we can change, because we can edit sketch 10. Let's normalize it, and let's see if it allows us to change that measurement, which it does. So I've changed it from 4 to 5. Let's see if we can go perhaps another stage bigger, up to 6, as you can see. Again, it's allowing us to make that change and edit it. And now, when I look at my work, I've got more of an angle for the phone to sit at. I actually think 1 more degree would probably make more sense. So let's change that again. Let's change. In this instance, I'm going to change it to 7.5 and accept. My work updates. I've got a nice angle for the phone to sit at, and this is now ready for me to do some further modelling work and detailing to it.